Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Duskmourn draft here on the channel. We're gonna dive on in, going pick by pick, play by play, talking through everything so you know what to do when you draft this format yourself. Okay, pack one, pick one. Our rare is not playable in draft. You're just not gonna have enough stuff to target your things. Our uncommon, Veteran Survivor, is mostly vanilla. It's really hard to get this to trigger 3 times in draft. So it's mostly like a 1 mana 2/1. So not a high pick, but definitely a playable card. There is Razorkin Horde Caller, which is a nice top end card, but it's not like crazy good. It's probably somewhat comparable to the most valuable Slayer, honestly, because this is 4 mana and enables attacks. This guy kind of pays you off for being able to attack. There is Rite of the Moth, which is a very committal card because it's 2 colors, so it's very narrow in the decks it can go into, but it is good in black-white. And then our commons, we have Boiler Bilge's Ripper, which is solid in red. We have Seized from Slumber, which is solid in white as a kill spell. And then Monstrous Emergence as a green kill spell. I think the pick is between Monstrous Emergence and Razorkin Horde Caller. Just top 2 power level cards, I think, in the pack. And I think I'm just going to default to taking the green removal spell here, just because I don't want to start off with a super expensive card there. And I think this is a totally fine way to start a draft. It's not like above average or anything like that, but it's fine. Now there is, as a follow-up green card, there's Overgrown Zealot, which is a good like way to ramp up into something big. Good way to splash your mana sometimes. There is also Meat Locker, which is a way to tap something and then get some card advantage, which it's okay as well. There's another Most Valuable Slayer, so I would have taken this almost guaranteed if I'd started with the red card. And then there's Valgavoth's Lair, which is beneficial if you have some cards that care about enchantments. I think I'm going to take the Overgrown Zealot. I think it's comparable to these other cards. Being a 0/4 means it really does block well, and ramping you from 2 to 4, even just into the late game, is pretty nice. You sometimes, if you have multiples of this sort of card, want to shave a land, but you often will have mana sinks like your Meat Lockers and Drowned Diners and things like that. Keys to the House is also a flexible card that you'll almost always play, but it's never like spectacular. It's just like solid in a lot of decks that care about Delirium or care about fixing your mana. So we'll just go green card into green card here. And now I see no reason not to follow with a third green card, Coordinated Clobbering. Really nice green removal spell. You do have to have some untapped creatures, so that is worth noting, but you do get a huge benefit, and there are some cards that are survival based that care about getting tapped, so you can use this for those. Live or Die can also be pretty good. You get a kill spell, or you get to return something from your graveyard, so it's got some nice flexibility if you want to be proactive or reactive. And then Orphans of the Wheat can sometimes be a card you're happy playing in a like green-white deck especially, but also sometimes like a red-white deck. You can like buff it up, turn all of your little 1/1s that you have into a big threat with this. There's also Smoky Lounge, Misty Salon. It's extremely narrow here, where I don't want it here because I haven't started with a couple of blue-red cards. Blue-red maybe is open. We're seeing Unable to Scream here, but we're also seeing good black cards, good white cards here, and going green card into green card's pretty good here. We will note that we've seen this card though, but I'm not super keen to take it here. Overgrown Zealot, I don't even remember what we took it over at this point, which is kind of crazy because I just made the pick, but it didn't feel like there was anything crazy in that pack. Okay, so now I think the best card is Betrayer's Bargain by a pretty wide margin. So this card's pretty good. But there's also a Spineseeker Centipede. So there is some tension there where this card is going to definitely make my deck given my start of green card, green card, green card. But this card's going to be better if I do get to play it because it's a really good like removal spell. So it's the odds of me ending up in a red-green deck or a deck that can splash red for this card versus the guaranteed getting to play this good green card. So that's kind of the weightiness of the decision I'm making here. And I think there's enough of a chance that I don't end up in red where I'll take the Spineseeker Centipede. If this was pack one, pick one, I would take Betrayer's Bargain and never look back. But because I could still be blue-green, I could still be white-green, I could still be black-green, there's no like huge reason. I mean, red could be open. Getting this fourth pick is a bit of a sign. But there is also a Withering Torment, and so there is some like potential that there's just like a black-green deck that I'm supposed to draft here. And now there's a Murder here as well. So that's kind of like a little bit vindicating for that choice. Though I think I might take Anthropede instead as just sticking to green. And that's kind of the logic that I'm going to use. I think Murder is fine, but Jeez, these sentences can't be taken out of context. Also, I am streaming this live on Twitch, so if you see me interacting with folks, then that is the reason. So like if I interact with someone or answer a question, then it's coming from Twitch chat. So I'll try to make sure everyone's on the same page. But Anthropede, I think, is fine. I don't really like fifth picking it. There is also Bleeding Wounds if I wanted to go into red-green. There is Murder as a kill spell. Jump Scare in white. Anthropede's not a card I have a ton of experience with. So I kind of want to get some more reps. Also, I just like that I'm almost guaranteed to play every green card that I take here. Now I will take Scorching Dragonfire. So this card, I think, is enough better than Manifest Dread and Bashful Beastie that it's worth taking. And I'm feeling pretty good about all the flexibility. Because just imagine if I'd taken Murder last pick, then all of a sudden the Scorching Dragonfire, I don't get to play my Anthropede. And now I get to play the red-green deck that has both of these cards. There is Manifest Dread, there is Bashful Beastie, but getting a 6th pick Scorching Dragonfire is a pretty good sign. I don't even feel that bad about this pick because this card is still going to be good in my deck, and I still could end up not playing red. But at this point, I think Scorching Dragonfire is enough better than both of these green cards that I'm pretty happy to end up with the Scorching Dragonfire in my pool here. There's also some black cards, so I could easily have ended up in black-green if I wasn't seeing such good red cards so late. Now, we're kind of back on that flexibility plan. Just going to probably take the Derelict Attic / Widow's Walk, or I could even take Hardened Escort. This card could go into a white-green deck. I don't like Vicious Clown, Smoky Lounge, Misty Salon #2, and Underwater Tunnel / Slimy Aquarium. I could take this card as a blue card to go blue-green. Play maybe some Rooms Synergies. I think it's between like any of these 3 cards. I think black has been the most open, though. We've already seen a couple of Murders. And I think this is a fine like card advantage card. So we're going to take the Derelict Attic here. No green cards isn't that worrying. There's enough cards gone from this pack that they could have just been a weak pack for green. Now there is a Flesh Burrower. There is also an Impossible Inferno and a few blue cards. I think I will take Flesh Burrower here. Impossible Inferno is good. And I think Flesh Burrower is just a little bit better, though, than the Impossible Inferno. Getting a good 2-drop that can trade with anything is just really nice. And I think I'm going to probably play red, but red's probably not going to be open pack 2 because I've been towing this line. And so if you're going to commit to this strat, you can either do 2 things. First, you could just jump ship in pack 2 and just completely like draft whatever color you get a good card in and then just go for it. Or you can like count on stuff being open again in pack 3. So like I can be like, well, red and black have looked open in pack 3, so they'll probably be open again when I get to that point. Ripper's not as good in red-green because you don't always have stuff to sacrifice to it. There is a Fanatic of the Harrowing, which is a bit of a card advantage card. Saw isn't that good. Razor Trap Gorge, if I wanted to really go crazy and try to splash something. I think I will take the Boiler Bilge's Ripper, though. It's a tough pick. I think this card's also fine. Now I will take Keys to the House. If I'm in a Delirium deck that cares about fixing, I now have a card that can get any color, and then I have the Spine Seeker Centipede that can get any color, and then I have the Overgrown Zealot that can tap for any color. So splashing is definitely on the cards here. I already have a Derelict Attic. I could have honestly taken the red-black land instead of the Boiler Bilges, but I don't really have a black card that I care about splashing, so that wasn't something I really cared about that much. Now, I could take another Boiler Bilge's Ripper, but I think I'm going to take Fear of Immobility just in case I want to go into white, because it'll just give me an extra playable in that case. Like if I open a really good white card in pack 2, or get past a really good one, I can still just jump ship into that color, even though I am muddying the waters a little bit for my red cards. Here, there's Enter the Enigma, Give Into Violence. I'll just take the Give Into Violence. Blue is looking like the least likely color that I play, and this isn't really a blue-green card anyway. One of the interesting things about Enter the Enigma is like it's fine in the decks that want it, but you can just get it with like 2 cards left in the pack. Now I'll get a Bleeding Woods. Really nice. Red-green is the colors I would likely to play. And if I was splashing red just for Scorching Dragonfire, I have enough sources to kind of justify that now. So overall, pretty good start to the draft here. Pack 2 comes around. There is Fear of Missing Out, which is pretty reasonable. 2 mana, 2/3 that just gets to filter your draw a little bit. It's just a good card. And if you do get to attack with it and you have Delirium, you can get an extra attack in with one of your big creatures. So that can definitely add up. There is also Pyroclasm. This card's a bit like too inefficient, even though it is flexible. And then playing a Branch Snapper or a Say Its Name is totally fine as well. I'm going to try to play red-green, I think. But I'm fully thinking that red might not be open this pack. I mean, after all, somebody did get a 5th pick copy of that red removal spell. But there's not a green card to take here, and I think this card is probably better than my next best options. Hello, everybody who's joining the stream. Welcome. We are drafting maybe some red-green, but probably splashing something. Okay, and now we get another Scorching Dragonfire. Pretty happy to see this. It would be weird if green wasn't open, because I took almost every green card that I saw. I mean, I just kind of like went down a path of just taking solid green cards the entire time. I wasn't quite confident enough in my red prediction to take the red card over the Centipede. I do think Centipede's really good. I'm liking Duskmourn so far. It's been pretty fun. It feels like you have a lot of options. But yeah, Scorching Dragonfire is really good. Fear of Abduction is a weird card where it's kind of like a lot of risk in your card where if you get it killed, then they get their creature back into their hand, but they don't get it back into play immediately, which is nice. And I think you get the creature that you exile from your, like, the creature you control that you exile, you also get that back, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to take Scorching Dragonfire here pretty easily. Now, it's kind of interesting. There's a Razorkin Needlehead. It's a 2/2, but it's really hard to cast. It does do some damage. It does have First Strike, but you're not going to be casting this on turn 2 a lot of the time, especially because my deck is probably leaning heavier green, just based on the way pack 1 went. So I think I'm probably going to just take Fear of Exposure and be pretty okay with that. There's Ticket Booth, which I wouldn't like on its front, but because I have the Ripper, it could be useful. There's also Cryptid Inspector, but I don't really have a lot of cards that play well with that. So I'll just take Fear of Exposure here, potentially Big Guy. I do like Ragged Playmate. I don't mind passing some red cards here. The one question I ask is, do I feel like drafting 3 colors is always possible? Would I approach being Jund here? I don't really have a reason to be Jund here. I mean, these cards just aren't that good. I would consider splashing. I have some good splashing tools. But I don't really have any good, like, oh, this is a reason to play Jund type of stuff. Like here, I'm just going to take the Overgrown Zealot. I'm totally open to splashing any good card that I get now. I have 2 Zealots. I have a Spineseeker Centipede, and I have a Key to the House. So that's like a lot of sources of a color. And these make me a little bit more stable. This makes me a little bit more stable against like putting off-color basics in my deck because it adds sources of my main colors. I think Zealot's going to be better than Valuable Slayer here. The Slayer is quite good, so I wouldn't hate that. But having the second Zealot means that I can cut a land now. I kind of go like 2 for 1 on those a lot of the time. Like 2 Mana Dorks for 2, you can cut a land. A lot of the time, that's kind of how I think about it. And I can splash like anything powerful that I see. Horrid Vigor's fine. Slayer's fine. Grab the Prize, not a huge priority for me. Okay, now here's an interesting pick. I could take Ghost Vacuum. Ghost Vacuum is a huge non-bow with Scorching Dragonfire because this exiles. But this can really mess with your opponent's stuff, and getting back a bunch of creatures in the mid-game is like okay. I've had this card in several decks, but I've never really drawn it in the opening hand, so I still don't have a huge like evaluation tool for it. But I like that it kind of gives you some inevitability. So I kind of want to take it here over a Fear of Exposure, just so I can get some reps with the card and actually get to see it in play. It also will retrigger enters the battlefield effects like this one, so that's pretty good. Works well with like the Death Touch from this card. So I am going to try it here over taking a Bashful Beastie, which I think would have been my pick otherwise. Now I will get a Flesh Burrower, another 2/2 Death Toucher. Death Touch is just a really good mechanic in Limited. It just keeps the creature relevant for the entire game, and that's really good. And it even enables attacks. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to get a Flesh Burrower here. And, I mean, we aren't playing white. We aren't playing black here. But we could totally splash like a good card that we get here. Red-green splashing seems like a really good spot to be. Because, again, we have this card, 2 of this card, and this card. So we have 4, like, sources of an alternate color. These ones don't fully count because these guys are going to have to battle in combat. They'll potentially die. But we'll just, like, if we put in, like, 1 plains, we'll have, like, 1, 2, 3 white sources right off the bat. And now I get to take a very easy second copy of Bleeding Woods. Sometimes there are picks that help you win, and sometimes there are picks that help you not lose. And this is one of those picks that helps you not lose, because if you have good mana. So if I have an extra red-green land, it decreases the number of games that I lose by not having red or green in my opening hand, and that's really important. If I am splashing especially, it becomes even better. But basically, you lose some number of games from just having a bad opening hand, having to mulligan a couple times, and then just losing that game. And this is going to reduce the odds of that happening, which is really nice. It's one of those subtle ways to help you improve your win rate. Now I could take Say Its Name as a sort of like graveyard filler. I could also take Haunted Screen. It is going to cost me some life to use. Bear Trap, Strangled Cemetery. I might take the Cemetery here. If I do want to splash black, it's kind of helpful. Say Its Name isn't going to make my deck significantly better, I don't think. I don't have a lot of Delirium cards right now. So, yeah, I think I'll just take the Cemetery for now. There's another Say Its Name. I'll take the Say Its Name now over the Razor Trap Gorge. Though this does make a black splash really easy. Yeah, I'll take the Razor Gorge, I guess. If I do get a black card, I have like 5 free sources now, so it's very easy to splash a black card. Even something like this, if I really felt like I needed it, which I don't, but... Okay, I will take Grab the Prize now. My deck is going to seem... It seems like it's going to have some extra mana lying around sometimes, so this can help me avoid floodouts. But I don't think you ever prioritize this card. Like I'm not going to necessarily even play it, and I'll end up with copies of it. Like if I don't, like whether or not I try to get it, I'll probably end up with a copy in my pool at least. Malevolent Chandelier. Chandelier, I'm going to swing. I don't think I'm going to take it. This isn't the sort of deck that's going to self-deck itself. So I'm going to take the Ragged Playmate here so I can punch through some extra damage sometimes. And now Horrid Vigor came back. I was asked why I didn't take Break Down the Door, which is a 3 mana card that can sometimes get an enchantment, sometimes get an artifact, sometimes be a manifest creature. I don't really like Break Down the Door. If you're spending 3 mana... Ooh, Hand That Feeds is okay. If you're spending 3 mana to get rid of an enchantment that already came into play and got some value, which is what a lot of rooms do, you're just putting yourself behind a little bit. You'd rather be doing your own thing. Okay, so going into pack 3, I definitely have the tools to splash. But I don't currently have anything that I need to splash. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I think I am going to stick to my guns and take Piggy Bank here. Just a nice card, and it even helps me with splashes if I do find a card that I want to splash, though. That's getting less and less likely. It's one of those things where it's like, a lot of the best cards maybe aren't splashable in this format, so you just have to build your deck as you go. This card's totally fine. Makes a treasure actively a solid card. There's also another Fear of Exposure, which looks like a 3-drop, but it's really like a 5-drop most of the time. I wouldn't mind like playing another Boiler build just at this point, but we're going to get a Piggy Bank and be pretty happy about it. This card is really good, but not really splashable because it requires both colors and synergy pieces I don't have. Okay, this is a great pickup. The Beastie Beatdown. I would love to see more cards like this. I don't necessarily have the best tools for enabling Delirium. I haven't been prioritizing graveyard filling. I haven't been prioritizing, like, honestly, a lot of stuff that would make this card good. But it's good on its own, and if you do get Delirium in the late game, it's like an absolute house. So this is great. I do have, like, an artifact creature here. That's pretty useful. I could maybe wield a Wary Watchdog. My pool doesn't have any like huge power boost. I've set myself up to play any powerful cards that I get, but I'm not like going crazy on power level here. I don't like have any. I mean, I have this as a rare, but it's not like I have this as a rare as well. But nothing like too crazy going on here. I have a few enchantment creatures that help with Delirium for sure. Okay, now I will get the Under the Skin. Pretty nice way to return something from the graveyard. Manifest Dread. Just a nice solid card all around. I would play this card if it wheeled. It's a nice little way to turn my extra mana into cards, which I will want in the late game, because I do have these 2 Overgrown Zealots, which will give me a bit more mana than I need. Currently, no reason to play Derelict Attic. I don't think. I don't need to make my mana worse. I just might end up cutting the Overgrown Zealots. I think they really thrive if you're ramping into stuff, and as you can see, my deck is very cheap right now. But there's still all of pack 3 to get some stuff going. Anthropede is kind of a 6-drop when you're killing rooms with it, so that's useful as well. So... hello, everybody tuning in. So this pack, there's a Terramorphic Expanse, which I could take just to make my mana better, as I already said. There's also Paranormal Analyst, so I have not a lot of cards that manifest Dread. There's one card that manifests Dread here. So it's not really a good card to splash for me. I could just take Terramorphic Expanse, though. Terramorphic Expanse helps me with the like 1 or 2 Delirium cards that I have. And also, again, just helps mitigate the downsides of potential like getting my mana messed up. Here, I think I will take Withering Torment here. I'm actually fine splashing black for this card. It's a nice 3 mana kill spell for anything. Not anything, but black or red. I don't need another Boiler Bilge. I don't need another one of these. I don't need a second Horrid Vigor. This is the perfect card to splash. It's going to be pretty easy for me to splash too. Is it possible for my deck to be cheap enough that I'd play 15? Not really, but what I would do is be more likely to play a card like Fear of Missing Out in that situation. Here, there's Turn Inside Out as a way to use combat tricks. Do I have a lot of creatures? I have an okay number of creatures. There's also Insidious Fungus. Whoa. There's also Say Its Name. I'm going to take Say Its Name. Now, there's this card. There's this card. I could take another Anthropede. Could take this guy. I'll just take another Anthropede. And now there is a Slavering Branch Snapper. Nice big top end card. So that's pretty good. And also helps me with I might actually cut another land now that I have this. I can go down even lower on lands. Another Anthropede. I don't think I need 3 of them. There is another Boiler Bilge's Ripper. Maybe I'll just take another Anthropede, honestly. I don't think I have a lot of good sack fodder for the Ripper that I do have. I think 1 copy will be fine. Here, I'll just take some cards that I don't need. I mean, Manifest Dread. Okay. Do I think Shroud Stomper, which is like a white, black card, is splashable? Not really. White is really hard to splash, but if you have enough fixing, you can do a lot of different things. I'm going to play the Derelict Attic off the splash. I have so many sources of black. I'm going to cut the Give Into Violence. Definitely not playing white here. And I'm only playing 1 swamp. So I have 1 swamp, one of these, and one of these. So that's 4 black sources already built into my mana base. This is 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. My deck is mostly green. So I am going to cut 1 mountain. That gives me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red sources. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green sources plus this. Maybe I'd rather go like this. This is, yeah, that's a bit dicey. So this is 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 lands, plus a Slavering Branch Snapper, plus a Keys to the House, plus 2 copies of Overgrown Zealot. So I honestly think that's fine. I then have Fear of Exposure, Centipede to get another land as well, Piggy Bank, Playmate. I don't think Playmate's very good in my deck. Honestly seems pretty bad. I don't have a lot of small things for it to go get. Say Its Name also doesn't seem particularly great. Manifest Dread isn't the best. What do I want here? I can probably cut 1 Anthropede. And just need 1 more cut here. It could just be the Manifest Dread. And then that gives me a pretty reasonable deck, I think. We will see how it does. We will make our artwork this Anthropede because we have 2 of them. and I will see you folks in the games. Before I get to the games, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the patrons who support my channel at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. If you have been enjoying my videos, finding them helpful, if they've been helping you have more fun playing Magic the Gathering, then becoming a Patreon supporter is the best way to help me make more videos going forward. You'll also gain access to some exclusive rewards like my card-by-card draft tier list for Duskmourn and also my format thoughts document for Duskmourn, where I write some detailed analysis to help you do better in your drafts. I want to give a special shout out to those who support at the credits level. It really does make a big difference. And I just want to thank everyone on the Patreon in general. It does really help the channel grow and thrive. Without further ado, let's get to the games. Welcome to another round. A very mana heavy hand, but we have to keep these. But these guys are essentially like extra lands in my deck, which is one of the weaknesses of my deck, because it is kind of prone to flooding out. I'll just deploy my tap land now. I don't need to play this thing right now. Another red-white deck, interesting. I'm starting to think second picking this card is a bit vicious. Or whatever, I did take it. I'll get some value. Looks like they may be holding up a removal spell. This is almost certainly going to relock the card draw door down the line. Sure. I don't want to give them a chance to use like a protection spell, and I think this is fine. Okay, they can kill my guy. Does that mean I want to use this not to relock the door? No, I still think I want to use it to relock this door. Whoa, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Degenerate AI. I appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we will play Piggy Bank now. And then we will play this relock. I think they have Scorching Dragonfire. They're probably going to exile this thing. Nope, they don't. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, they just use that. I have a couple of peds in the deck. Whatever the thing's called. Anthropedes. So I should be okay. So if I use this first, I get to play this thing untapped, so that's good. Play this thing. Play the hand that feeds. And their best thing last turn was just making this a thing, so I'm just going to attack them now. But yeah, I appreciate the support to generate AI. Okay, Acrobatic Cheerleader, not a huge deal. Okay. Well, that's going to end up really badly for them. At least I hope it does. So for starters, I can play this. I might not want to, though. I might want to coordinated clobbering this guy. Because I think they do have a removal spell, and I can blow that removal spell out with that. So I'll do this. Tap one creature you control. Target their guy. Yes, I do want to do that. I will pay the 2. They have their Scorching Dragonfire or whatever. They do not. Okay. I will play Anthropede then. I'll discard the Zealot. I don't need it. So all's fair in love and war. Did they even use the kill spell part? Okay, Painter's Studio, sure. Another Sheltered by Ghosts. I could hit him for a lot of damage this turn. Wow, they just give their stuff +1/+0. That's wild. Yeah, I'll just play this. Hit them for 10. Next turn they'll go boom, boom. I play a 5/4 trample for 5. I think this game is a lock for me almost. They're probably going to just play these 2 cards. Maybe not a literal lock, but in pretty good shape here. They're going to exile my Fear of Exposure. I will attack with everything, of course. They'll try to block. I'll use Horrid Vigor to ensure the block works. Fails. They will gain 5 life. Sure, I can kill that room at some point if I ever care about it even. I will attack with everything. They have to block. I could have put them to 1. Actually, they were dead. That was bad. I could have opened this room, hit them for 5, done this. That might have been better. I don't think they have as many outs that way. So, especially because I can hold up my protection spell until post-combat happens. So that was a bit of a punt. I'll send him to 3. If I lose this game, I totally deserve it. I botched it. They were dead. Wow, they almost actually got me. Yeah, that would have been well-deserved if I'd lost that one. You always have to look for lethal. Pretty good. Nice little win there. Welcome to another round. It's a sketchy hand for sure here. I mean, our plan is turn 2, cycle Slavering Branch Snapper, turn 3, Under the Skin, back Branch Snapper, and then we have like Clobbering and Vigor and stuff, but I'm still going to keep it. If we draw a red source, we're in great shape. Our deck is going to be able to function fine. That's a great draw. Makes our coordinated clobbering much better. We're playing against red-white again? Interesting. A very common matchup to see, I guess. It's always good to note which matchups you play a lot, because those are the ones that are going to determine which picks you want to make for your decks that aren't that particular color pair. So, like, if red-white is super common, I'll want to bias my decks away from cards like Derelict Attic. I will decide to get on the board first here. Because if I do draw a land, this lets me maybe do some curving out or something of that nature. Whereas this, just like, okay. So here I'm going to definitely get rid of this thing because that thing is really scary. It is worth using a removal spell to stop it. Tap this thing and kill that thing. Because red-white plays a lot of combat tricks in my experience, and it can just like kill you out of nowhere. There is the gremlin. I cannot block it, which means I might as well attack into it. Actually, I can block it, but I don't want to right now. Actually, I totally want to. Get a mountain. I already have a couple black sources. Play my land tapped. Happily double block the gremlin. Living Phone. Sure. I don't think Living Phone is that good. It is a Scorching Dragonfire candidate. They get rid of Boiler Bilge Stripper, so they're missing land drops here. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to use Scorching Dragonfire on this thing, but I might have to. Or I could just trade and let them get their little bit of value. Sure. They'll get their little gremlin value here. They can't do it more than once each turn. I am going to use Horrid Vigor here so I can use my mana effectively. They get to get their trigger here. That's okay with me. They could whiff. They do whiff. That's one of the reasons I don't love that card. I have Creature, Sorcery, Instant. I think getting back the branch guy could be pretty good here. Could also play Fear of Exposure, tapping my two guys, and then zap their face-down card. Red-white's not going to have as many scary face-down cards. Face down. Land goes to the graveyard, so my guy is now huge. Get back the branch. Draw, though. I have sorcery, instant, land. I can just play this next turn, which means this is the turn to play the Scorching Dragonfire. Arabella. That could be worth killing here, or trying to kill. They could have a combat trick still. Okay, yeah, they're going to be able to enable an attack with the Arabella next turn. It's going to deal 1,000,000 damage to me, so we're just going to get rid of it now. I did that 1 second too early. I should have waited one more time for them to get one more trigger, so they didn't have as much information. But they're still keeping the cards in their hand. This being a reach creature makes me pretty happy. 3, 4, 5, 6, so I can play land. Play the Branch Snapper, and play the Ghost Vacuum. So we'll get to see Ghost Vacuum in action here. Gonna start getting rid of their graveyard. The Patched Plaything's gonna be nice. The Boiler Bilge's Ripper. They actually have a lot of good cards for me to get. This card's good. They have a lot of good cards in their graveyard. Inferno. Okay. So first things first, exile a card from their graveyard. They have multiple artifact creatures. They have artifact creature, land, sorcery. So I'm going to get rid of sorcery. So now they do not have Delirium, so they won't get an extra value bit there. Okay. So would I rather have a 3-4 or 2-2 Death Touch? On this board, I'd rather have a 3-4. Because a 3-4 can double block and block all their little guys a little bit better. I will attack. No, I won't. Attacking basically tells them I have something. And I don't really want to use it on that anyway. Okay. They manifest Dread, and they're going to threaten to give something double strike, looks like. Get rid of their patched plaything, I think. Do I want to kill something here? Probably not. I want to flip this and use this next turn. Monstrous Emergence. This one hasn't seemed that scary. I think I'm going to kill their Gremlin. Target a creature. Gremlin's not doing a ton. I'm going to kill their new face down card, maybe. What was it? It was a land. Maybe a poor choice, but we'll see. I could give my guy Death Touch. Sure, the twins again. That was a weird attack. I would love your Boiler Villages, Ripper. I do want to keep this up at all times, so I'm just going to be pretty relaxed here. Another Mountain A. I've been slowly getting rid of their threats, and then when I get this thing, I can kill their last creature. And I can start getting their unsettling twins with this, which will get me a lot of value. Okay, that's a little bit sketchy. Unsettling twins. Yeah, That's too risky to lose 2 more life, right? Because they can put me on a 2-turn clock then. I don't have any creatures that matter here. Do I have any 3-drops in the graveyard? I do. How greedy do I want to be by exiling 1 more card with this? 1 more twins. I kind of want to get 1 more twins here. Yep. I'll get 1 more twins and then think that's good enough. Yep. But because the Boiler Builder Ripper I'm about to get is not going to matter here. I will get 1 more twins, I think. Savior of the Small might be better because then he can get back all my guys that die. Or all my little guys that die. Yeah, I'll do that. And I'm just going to go get a land, thin my deck a little bit. So now I only have 3 basics left I could draw. Oh, my own Boiler Builder's Ripper. Perfect. So I don't even have to use that now. Sure, I will play this. Sacrifice Anthropede. Because then I can exile the Anthropede. Get rid of Ragged Playmate. Play land. Attack with this guy. I can exile my own Anthropede now. And then next turn I'll bring this thing back. Kill their room. Sure. Decline. Kill your room. Sacrifice the enchantment. Kill that. Attack you for 1 billion. They have to chump block. Could I have just killed them? Probably. Maybe. Probably. Oh, gosh. Okay, we got him. Gosh. I feel like I missed some damage. I think I could have won that a little easier. Maybe a little sooner. I had a lot of power in play. But yeah, we got the win in the end. That was a crazy intense game. Lots of back and forth. See you folks next round. Welcome to another round. We'll keep this on the draw. We'll get to see Ghost Vacuum on turn 1 in action. Though, now that I've done it, I regret it immediately. I should have thought through my play a little bit better. The classic, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. It's all going to work out, though. Get that exiling rolling. This is maybe the best card I could have had on turn 1 against a graveyard deck. Okay, doke. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. Pretty tough. That particular sequence is devastating for my deck. I'm gonna take at least 8 damage here. Yikes. Sometimes you just lose to this sort of thing. Only let me destroy target enchantment. So I don't think they have a combat trick, or they would have attacked with everything. Just lower their delirium slowly but surely. Ooh, that's pretty good. So why are they holding up double black instead of black green? Okay. So they draw a couple. If they attack with Brood Spinner, it will be very telling. They do not. So they do not have a combat trick at the moment. This is actually huge. This Anthropede is clutching up for me here. Because killing this room before it can do any extra work is crucial. Because this thing with Death Touch would force a double trade. And as such, I'm totally just in this game. They've just got nothing going on. This thing's not doing anything, I don't think. Okay, they have a big guy. Sure. Okay. So what do I have exiled with? I don't have any creatures, really. Yeah, I have one creature. Oh, gosh. Block the more damage one first. This could actually be good for me. So, they don't have a kill spell. Or maybe they do. They didn't have a good shot to use it there. Well, that sucked. Already got my black source. Guess I might as well get another one, though. Flipping a Death Touch was really good there. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Now I have Artifact, right? So this will put 2 counters. Yep. So I flip this. Okay. Now there's plenty of cards to get rid of. I can get rid of their Brood Spinner, which is really good for me. I can get rid of their Beastie. Brood Spinner is really good with this. I'm probably going to just go Brood Spinner and then untap and use it. Because now I have 1, 2 creatures. Actually, no. Once it starts resolving, I can't stop it, so they can get back their Beastie, I think. Frantic Strength, okay. Oh, I choked. Oh, I messed it up. Oh my gosh, I could have won this one. Oh, not my best play. Pretty bad, actually. I just didn't even think about it. To be fair, I was gonna struggle to beat that thing anyway. Gosh, too much stuff went to the graveyard all at once. I got discombobulated. Dang it. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. The deck ended up going 5-3, which I think was a pretty good performance considering the cards that I had available to me. If you're wondering what happened to the other rounds, well, in one of the rounds, my opponent got horrifically mana screwed, so it wasn't really a fun game. There was one round where my opponent didn't really know what their cards did, and that one also wasn't really fun, so that was a couple of the wins that I didn't showcase. There was one that I just simply forgot to hit the record button, and then the losses were just like kind of bad games that took a long time, and so I didn't really want to show those ones either. So that is going to do it for this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you made it all the way to the end, leave hashtag 3color, because this was a pretty good 3-color deck where the mana was almost never an issue. I mean, sometimes it was kind of painful or having to play more tap lands, but overall pretty good. So hashtag 3color to let me know you made it all the way till the end of the video. That's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time.